Peace, and welcome to the Quranic Remedies, where we spend about 15 minutes exploring a page from the Quran together and seeing how we can apply the verses to our lives. And hopefully, with God's permission, it helps us heal our brain, body, mind, and soul. So today we'll be reading from chapter 2, the cow, from verses 102 all the way to 105. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. I seek refuge to God from the accursed devil. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the merciful, the gracious. واتبعوا ما تتلو الشياطين على ملك سليمان وما كفر سليمان ولكن الشياطين كفروا يعلمون الناس السحر وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت وما يعلمان من أحد حتى يقولا إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر فيتعلمون منهما ما يفرقون به بين المرء وزوجه وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله ويتعلمون ما يضرهم ولا ينفعهم ولقد علموا لمن اشتراه ما له في الآخرة من خلاق ولبئس ما شروا به أنفسهم لو كانوا يعلمون. And they followed what the devils had recited during the reigns of Solomon. And Solomon did not disbelieve, but the devils who disbelieved taught the people sorcery together with what was revealed to the two angels at Babel, Harout and Marout. And they did not teach anyone unless they said, "We are only a trial, so do not disbelieve." So they learnt from them both what causes separation between a man and his wife, and they cannot harm anyone with it except by the permission of God. And they learnt what harms them and does not benefit them. And they certainly know that whoever buys it will have no positive quality in the hereafter, and wretched is what they traded their souls for, if only they knew. وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ آمَنُوا وَاتَّقُوا لَمَثْوِبَةٌ مِنْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. And if only they had believed and became pious, they would have been rewarded the best from God, if only they knew. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَقُولُوا رَاعِنَا وَقُولُوا أَنظُرْنَا وَاسْمَعُوا وَلِلْكَافِرِينَ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. O you who believed, do not say, "Be our shepherds," but say, "Observe us and listen," and for the disbelievers is a painful punishment. ما يود الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب ولا المشركين أن ينزل عليكم من خير من ربكم والله يختص برحمته من يشاء والله ذو فضل عظيم. Neither those who disbelieve among the people of the book nor the polytheists wish that any good should be sent down to you from your Lord. But God specifies His mercy to whomever He wills, for God possesses great favor. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. The God, the Amazing, the Great, said the truth. So this verse is a carry on from those people that when they are presented with new information that is confirming to whatever is in the book, and if that person is coming from a mission from God to express to them what they have been doing wrong. The people who threw away, which was in the verse before it, the people who threw away the book of God behind their back and acted like they didn't know what's in the book, or they pretended like they're not part of the book. The only other alternative is when you disbelieve in God's verses, is you have to now adhere and follow a devil. Because a devil presented himself, a devilish idea came to you that, you know what, I don't want to follow what this individual is telling me about God. I want to disbelieve in whatever information that was presented in front of me, because either it does not coincide with what I was told as a little kid, or I don't want to face the fact that I was wrong or that I was fed a lie, and now I have to exert effort and escape that programming. But as soon as you disbelieve from whatever information was brought to you, your only alternative is to follow a devil. Now, when it comes to the religious groups, especially the children of Israel, the religions that came out of the children of Israel, which is the Jews and the Christians, and then later the Sunnis and the Shia, there are a few elements where people get hypnotized, or it's a form of sorcery, where a thought can overcome your brain, where you're either extremely superstitious or you understand a way to brainwash people or to mess with people's minds so that you get what you want. Especially when it comes down to the religion, because to them, especially the devil, he wants to either instill fear in you or to take over you by promising you something and making it appear so when in reality that's not what's happening. Because that's why it's magic. That's why it's not based on reality. So the person can be imbued with a thought that is not attached to reality, but he could twist whatever's happening in front of him to match what he's being told. So for example, you could think that the color green is something very important to you. And the devil can say to you, hey, look, the color green is something that's very important. You should pay attention. When you see green, then you have to know that at that point you have to become extremely arrogant or extremely strong. So that person, his whole life, he's under magic spell or he's mesmerized looking for the color green. And when he's talking to somebody and he realizes the color green, at that point he wants to be arrogant and he wants to be strong and always take his position, despite if he's wrong. But the thing is, the devil is decorating his deed is like, hey, look, you see how that person left you? You won the conversation. Yeah, the color green was something important. Now, this is just an example of how the devil, under the reign of Solomon, would have taught some of the people, because there is a lot of nuances to it, and they do this on a large scale as well. So you could see this in the media in the West on how they brainwash people into believing a lie, because the second you believe a lie, the devil has control over you. Now, some people like to conflate whatever the devils taught the people and whatever Harout and Marout taught the people. The angels are not going to teach you magic, nor are going to teach you how to perform magic. That's not something that an angel would be allowed to do, from what I understand. And God said that the devils who disbelieved taught people sorcery, right? Together with what was revealed to the two angels at Babel, Harout and Marout. So there's a distinguishment between what Harout and Marout was teaching people and what the angels, or astaghfirullah, the devils were teaching people. Now, a lot of people don't see or don't realize what is one of the things, and this is just, again, these are just examples from what I understood. So Harout and Marout during the time of Babel, they were teaching something to people, where in a sense it was separating a husband and a wife. A lot of people in the Middle East, they think that it's a form of jinn that sits there and plays with your head and gives you an obsession. No, this is the magic that was prior. This is not what was taught between Harout and Marout, from what I understand. Now, I'll make it very close to you. And these people have bought into the world. So they really want a big portion of the world, yet you could see how deluded and crazy they are. How many times have you heard people having a conversation saying like, hey, I know we're married, right? But if you could sleep with any celebrity, who would you pick, right? Because like it seems like celebrities are always off the chart when it comes down to what is sexual infidelity or not. Like people always wondering about whether, like, you know, they're always discussing with their spouses whether it's okay if this celebrity or is that celebrity good looking, and if they had a chance they would sleep with them. Because you could clearly see when certain celebrities who did buy into whatever Harout and Marout, and this is not just for musicians and musicians and actors and people of that nature. This applies in more than one field. But as soon as they hit the stage, do you see the front row? If it's a male singing or a male dancing, how are the people in the front row when it comes down to the opposite sex? They would go at him right then and there. There's no problem, because they've completely detached from the world. And they, even if they're married, their love and their passion and their desire for this singer or this celebrity is unequivocal. It's borderline crazy, right? And God is making it very clear that these celebrities or these people that want to buy into this world to a level where they want to be extremely not good looking, but sexually appealing to the opposite sex, those are the people who truly bought into the world and will have no share in the hereafter. Yes, the verse is clearly saying to you that those who bought into this have no share in the hereafter. But here's the thing. So the way the devil works is he wants to convince you that you're going to hell no matter what. So that there is no chance for you to repent. It's like, hey, come here, buddy. If we make this trade, okay, I'll give you $1 million, right? But you're going to go to hell. And there is no questions about it, if and but. Do you agree? The person might go, you know what? Yeah, sure, let's do it. Auzubillah, right? But the devil is just lying to you, and he's convincing you that you're going to hell no matter what. Because every time you start realizing like, hey, like I didn't even get the $1 million. I got like maybe only 600,000, and I've been ruining my life, and I really don't want to go to hell. I think I want to stop doing this. What does the devil do? Oh, too late. Me and you have a deal. It's over. You can't escape it. You're stuck. There's no turning back for you. These are all lies again from the devil. Because God says that on the day of judgment, because God is talking in the past tense here in the Arabic, وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ آمَنُوا وَاتَّقُوا لِمَثْوِبَةٌ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. So if they chose to disconnect away from that life and from that pursuit of whatever is making them grand in the world and their sexual appeal, despite them not being good looking, if they disconnected and started to being pious and really not think about that path that they were walking into, yes, the door is open for forgiveness or repentance. Anyone who thinks that they made a deal with the devil and that's it, they're sealed, doesn't work that way. That's the devil lying to you that you're going to go to hell. God says later in the Quran that it's the devil that's promising and he's pulling his people to the craziness of the hellfire. But you can stop believing into what the devil is telling you. And you can turn back to God and saying like, God, I made like some serious mistakes. And however much, yes, the devil's going to come at you 10 times to 20 times harder than he comes at other people, because now he has a lot of ammunition at you, against you. But you just have to understand that these devils, you have to ignore them. These negative thoughts, God tells you, do not have a bad assumption about God. So if you know you did bad, now you're working on fixing yourself. Now you don't want to be part of whatever you bought yourself into. And these thoughts come back to you, ignore them. Stop them. And you'll see over time, you will heal yourself by God's permission. You're not going to be healing yourself. God heals you through his verses, through his words, and whatever he's allowing you to do to make up for what you bought yourself into. So don't ever let the devil convince you that you're sealed and that's it. Okay? But yes, so, and again, do not conflate magic with what Harout and Marout was teaching people. Harout and Marout was teaching people to separate man and wife, so that the wife will either end up cheating on her husband or the husband will end up cheating on his wife. And then it's sinful. And there's a person who's inciting that. The person who bought into inciting that kind of lifestyle, okay, those are the people who have been taught whatever Harout and Marout was teaching. And remember, Harout and Marout, when they were teaching the people, it was an angel teaching them. The devils was listening, and then the devils started to copy what they were doing. So there is a difference between receiving something from an angel and receiving something from the devil. So in short, not everybody that you see as a singer or a celebrity or someone who is, let's say, in Hollywood or other industries, that not all of them are buying into this sexual appeal or seduction. Some of them are actually working for God, and some of them were actually inspired by angels and other entities to make this world a better place, because they're singing on behalf of God. They're singing with the memory and remembrance of God, nor are they trying to take a position of an idol. It's the people who are playing the idol worship. Those are the people who are buying into this seductive nature of the business. Now, in this verse 104, this is the first time in the Quran, as we're reading it in the order that was presented to us, right? This is when God first addresses the believers. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقولوا راعنا وقولوا انظرنا واسمعوا وللكافرين عذاب أليم. Don't tell people, shepherd us. Oh, Jesus is the shepherd, right? You hear how people saying, oh, Jesus is a shepherd. And then there's hadith that are attached to the Prophet, where the Prophet is saying like, people, you should take care of you should be a shepherd. No, God doesn't want you to be sheep. God doesn't want you to sit there and be blind followers or someone who needs to sit there until a command comes to them. Oh, okay, now I have to act. God is not looking for sheep. God has plenty of sheep and have a lot of other animals. You are somebody who is aware. God is telling the people in charge, especially the prophet, right? The prophets and the messengers, to one, observe the people, right? To observe the people, and for them to listen for any feedback, because you're supposed to start taking initiative. You need to start doing things on your own. You don't need to wait to somebody to tell you like, hey, let's go volunteer or let's go help somebody. You should go do it yourself, right? And you should observe the good people, what they're doing, while the people in charge should be observing you and again, giving you feedback. God is not waiting for you to become a sheep. So that's why you shouldn't say shepherd us. Be our shepherd. Ra'ina. Jesus is the shepherd. Muhammad is a shepherd. Moses was a shepherd. All of these words are nonsense, and whoever is saying that, he's a disbeliever. God didn't create you to be cattle. God created you to be a good human being. Okay? Now, yes. So, and in the final verse, God is telling you about the jealousy of those who say they're believers from the people of the book, and then the polytheists or the mushrik. When they see that you have some sense of truth in you, that you're saying things that are making sense to them, but it's not aligning with what their cult mentality, they start to become very vindictive, spiteful, very jealous. Every time something that is good and positive is that's happening to your community, you see them like, hey, like this is not good because these people should be put down. Well, hey guys, look at the favor of God upon our community because we're adhering just to the Quran. Well, no, anyone could get that. Well, I guess it didn't come from God. Is that what you're saying? No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just you guys are evil and you guys shouldn't be getting this stuff anyways. Why? Well, because you don't adhere to our polytheistic nature. And the reason why I'm saying polytheistic nature is because those people are putting more than one Lord. Now, again, the Lord is someone who is dictating the rules, the laws, and governing this world around you. That's your Lord. Some people put the government as their Lord. Some people put other books as their Lord. Some people put their parents as their Lord. And some people put God, the dictator of this reality, as their Lord. Those are the people who are on the path of pure monotheism. Right? And some people believe in this concept of monotheism. They believe in God in the last day, but they've attached other concepts. They want these concepts to be the truth because of personal issues. A psychology is like a psychological issue that you cannot really fix it in those people other than them realizing it by the permission of God and then turning back to God and then shedding away from what they associated. This kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about those people who the devil convinced them an idea. And God says that if you obey the devil, you have associated. You are an associator. You are an idolater. You're idolater. You are a mushrik if you obey the devil. Because if the devil convinced you you're going to hell no matter what and God's not going to forgive you, right? You have associated that idea to God and now you're going to have fear and you're going to have all the problems of shirk. But as God says, if you are able, right? If you are able to disassociate from this shirk and go back and turn back to God, those thoughts and demonic voices and demonic ideas will no longer affect you. And God is a possessor of great bounty. All of you think that all of us would love to have a comfortable life where resources and money is not a problem. That's the deal for a lot of people. But some other people understand that the bounty is not this money and the wealth. But let's take a look at the Prophet Muhammad's bounty. How many people have heard of him? I know people, he is a little larger than the rest of us. He's still a human like us, but his position is larger than us. So we see him a little differently. But let's put him like your next door neighbor. Like your next door neighbor, everybody's talking about. Everybody has heard of him. He's constantly being talked about. People are getting guided to God by him. People are remembering him often. People are praying for him. Imagine if that was you. You understand that bounty on the day of judgment? Do you understand how big your book, when you get it from your right, like that book of your record, how big and grandiose it's going to be for you? 9 billion people were sending you praises. That's the bounty of God. That's the true benefit of believing in God. It is not the fact that you're getting houses and cars and whatever material gains, because that's going to perish. But it's your mark on history. That's the thing that's going to outlast you. Because look, Prophet Muhammad didn't leave for us businesses and he didn't leave us a family tree and all this. That's maybe where people get lost. But what did Prophet Muhammad really leave for us? A legacy for us to get close to God. And because of what he accomplished, and he didn't just sit back and do nothing all day, because he worked so hard, he outlived the time he was alive. Just like all these other people that we keep hearing about in a positive light. They're outliving themselves because they're still being mentioned. Their book is still being written as they're still in the grave, just like everyone else. Because some people are being remembered with the evil that they did. And they're used as an example for such evil things that they've done and accomplished. Those people are still racking up reasons to be put into hell as they're still in their graves. So you might want to be from the side that is really getting blessed by God's permission, by God's grace and His bounty, so that you could outlive yourself. But the only way that you could do that is by actually working hard and believing in God and putting your trust in God and asking God from His bounty. The bounty that is going to get you into heaven with a clean and pure heart. And with that, of course, in God's mercy and permission. With that, I'd like to conclude here. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise to God. The Lord of the worlds. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace and blessings upon you all.